In Series 12 of Doctor Who, Gallifrey was once destroyed yet again, but this time, not by the Daleks, not by the Doctor, it was by the Master, single-handedly. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the possible reasons why the Master might have done this, and why it doesn't really work. As much as I love expanded media, here we're not going to really speak about it. Not only is it not relevant, but if I do, it also just opens up a bucket of worms for things I'm not speaking about in today's video. A lot of people have been asking since Series 12 of Doctor Who premiered, how did the Master single-handedly destroy Gallifrey, when even in the height of the Time War, the Daleks only just defeated Gallifrey, and didn't even do it completely. The Doctor, of course, ended up destroying Gallifrey, but then going back in the 50th anniversary and saving it. So how did the Master single-handedly destroy it, when the might of the Dalek Empire took hundreds of years to destroy it? In recent years, the Master has been portrayed as somebody that can't even overtake Earth. In expanded media and in past TV serials, he's been portrayed as one of the most powerful Time Lords ever. But if he can't even take over Earth, he can't take over Gallifrey. The only time he ever came close was in the classic serial The Deadly Assassin, but he had lots of artifacts from Gallifrey to destroy Gallifrey. And also, alongside that, Gallifrey at the time was pacifist. They hadn't involved themselves in the Time War because it hadn't come about yet. They were still a pacifist society, so it was easier to overtake them and destroy them. Where here, they'd come straight off the back of the Time War. Of course, heavily weakened because of the events of the Time War and being rescued, but still, they were ready for war. I think it's very important to remember that before Series 12, the last time we'd seen Gallifrey was in Series 9's Hellbent. In Hellbent, they lose their leader, Rassilon. Of course, they have other Time Lord officials to take over, but they lost their main leader, Rassilon. And the person that took over from Rassilon, the Doctor, also left, leaving Gallifrey without a leader. So could this be the reason why Gallifrey was maybe a bit weaker than usual? I think it's also very important to remember that the Master didn't only take over Gallifrey and destroy it, he killed every single Time Lord, turning them into Cybermen. Meaning that even without a leader, how did he kill every single Time Lord and convert them into Cybermen? It doesn't seem plausible whatsoever.
Look upon my work, Doctor, and despair.
Remember how we used to run through those streets as children?
The alleys, where we'd hide from Barusa as we skipped classes.
All gone now.
Come on, ask me why I did that.
I'm going to make a very bold statement here. The Master physically couldn't have destroyed Gallifrey entirely and turned them all into Cybermen without some form of intervention. Of course, the Cybermen came along later and he converted them into Cybermen, but he must have had help to destroy Gallifrey this way. I refuse to believe that the Master single-handedly took out every single Time Lord on his own and destroyed Gallifrey, one of the most mightiest civilizations ever, even post-Time War. Of course, this isn't out of the realm of possibility. The Master, all throughout his time on Doctor Who, has collaborated with other villains, most recently in Power of the Doctor when he collaborated with the Daleks and the Cybermen. But this isn't stated anywhere in canon. It isn't stated in any episodes that he did this with any other creature, race, or civilization. It's inferred that he did this all on his own, which, as a viewer of the show, even casual or super diehard fans, it takes you out the moment, because you know that the Master realistically couldn't do that. If the might of the Daleks can do that, and 400 years of the Time War can do that, how could the Master do that? It just doesn't make any sense. And it really takes you out of that story. Some of the fan theories even for this don't make any sense. You can see why people are still scrambling for an answer several years later. Some people suggest that maybe Rassilon and the Master teamed up to take down Gallifrey. That Rassilon was still annoyed and angry over the fact that Gallifrey turned its back on one of its most powerful leaders. But even that would make sense. The Master was angry over the timeless child reveal. And of course, undoubtedly, Rassilon knew about this. So why would the Master trust him, and why would the Master side with him? He just wouldn't. He would have killed him instantly, because that's how angry the Master was in this situation. He was so angry over the timeless child. I mean, depending who you listen to and what episodes and what sources you cite, Rassilon was one of the founding fathers of Gallifrey. So 100% the Master would not listen to him, regardless of what canon or what source you align with. It just doesn't make any sense for this to be the case. Now, I do myself have some theories on how I personally believe that the Master destroyed Gallifrey and killed the Time Lords. I reckon that the Master lied when it was inferred that he did it on his own. I reckon he had help from rivaling civilizations of Gallifrey, but he was too proud to admit that. Too proud, too arrogant, too ignorant to admit that he had help. And I generally reckon this civilization might have been the Daleks. I mean, we've seen him team up with them in Power of the Doctor. They had no issue teaming up and working together to defeat the Doctor and succeed in his plan. So why couldn't they do it defeating Gallifrey? They both equally hate Gallifrey at this point, probably far more than the Doctor. So why couldn't they team up? I feel like this is a very plausible answer to a question that hasn't been answered, and there's been no hint of what actually happened or how he did it. Or did he get his hands, like in the Deadly Assassin and like the Doctor did, on a Time Lord artifact? Something that could destroy Gallifrey. Something that was a massive weapon that the Daleks and the Time Lords really didn't know about. That the high-ranking officials of Gallifrey had in their back pocket, just in case of the last days of the Time War. We know they had weapons that they didn't want to use. So is it possible that the Master found these weapons and enacted them on Gallifrey kind? I mean, any of this is possible, but we don't have an official answer, and I can't confidently say with any guarantee that this is what happened. It's all down to your own interpretation until probably Russell T Davies wants to do another arc with Gallifrey and has to explain how it got destroyed and how it got reversed yet again. It was a poor decision to do this to Gallifrey without reasoning, without proper explanation. Of course, he did it because of the Timeless Child arc, but it wasn't explained how the Master actually did this, and it just feels like there's a lot of gaps here. A lot of unnecessary gaps that would have been easy to fill by one quick word or a bit of piece of dialogue. I just think it lets down the whole reveal of Gallifrey being alive still, being around, but in a pocket universe, in a bubble. It lets it down. It really does let down the 50th anniversary, and it lets down what Gallifrey can be. And the fact that it's hinted at that the Master completely destroyed it all on his own sort of just throws out the whole Time War, even post-Time War.
Shoot him. Shoot him! Good dog.
All dead.
Wait.
Could it be?
Yes, it could.
But what do you think about this? What are your theories and ideas on how the Master actually succeeded in killing all the Time Lords and destroying Gallifrey? What are your thoughts on this? Please comment down below. But I've been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next Samuel Who video.